Authors Alcove. This is Angie Wolfe. Today I have author, speaker, and empowerment coach Sheila Kamuda. She is the author of the memoir, Party of One, a memoir about getting through loss and being okay as a party of one. She's also the founder of Live Out Loud Coaching, which you can find more about on her website, liveoutloudcoaching.com. And we will be discussing her book about getting over grief, finding purpose after loss, and how to be sure we do not let circumstances diminish our self-worth, as well as different services Sheila also offers. So thank you so much for joining us, Sheila.
Oh, thank you for having me. This is wonderful. Thank you so much.
Do you mind just sharing a little bit about yourself and what brought you to write your book?
Yes. Hi. So my husband became ill. I'll jump right into that. Our child was 14 years old at the time. He became ill and he passed away in 2012. And he was ill for about 9 months and was at home. And so I knew what was going on. I knew what was happening. Of course, anybody that struggles with a child and something like that, it's very difficult. And passed away. And when he passed away, we all need to connect with people. We can't just let them go. And somehow I started to write in journals I wrote a letter a day to him. It was like a way of letting go and holding on. And because I needed to talk to him. So I would tell him things like, I paid a bill, or your kid Sydney was in a show, whatever it was. And I just kept doing this and doing this. And I realized it took me 6 years. I call that my healing journey of 6 years. Maybe it doesn't take people that long. Maybe it takes people longer. Whatever it takes, it takes. And I realized I had under 2,000 letters written to him in 6 years. I wrote every single day. And so it was just sort of memories. I didn't want to forget. I just didn't want to forget anything, even things he said. And got through raising Sydney, through high school, college, that whole thing. And Bob was originally from Chicago. I had lived in Chicago a while back, and then we had moved to Seattle. So when he was gone and Sydney was in college, I knew I'm originally from New York. So I knew Seattle was not my place. I barely drove. And so I knew I would be probably coming back to Chicago. And I had written some other journals before as an empowerment coach on how to be grateful and how to be empowered and love yourself and all of that. But something was just telling me I needed to write this story because I always kept calling myself a party of one. And that started by like going to eat out. I do go to eat out. And in the beginning, and they would say, how many in your party? You know how they do that. And at first I was very sheepish and it would be like, oh, just me. And then as I was healing and I was getting stronger and I would say finding the me inside of me, I was becoming who I was supposed to be. I would walk up and I'm like, yeah, party of one, me. And I felt like that never left me. That party of one was so empowering rather than diminishing my strength. And so I started to write Party of One. Actually, it started out as helping people as they go through loss, that they are important and they can discover that they're actually stronger than they want to be. And that's how it started. And then it turned into a memoir and then reflection. So the memoir part is they're vignettes. And so they are memories or a circumstance or something funny that happened. They're not meant to be sad. They might be moving and people might relate to them. So there's this story. And then on the other side is what I call my reflection. An insight I learned from it. Like maybe the insight is to be patient with yourself. Maybe the insight is to be kind to yourself and that it takes as long as it takes and don't let anybody bother you. It's so all sorts of things. Or if you find something and it brings up a memory, it's okay. So it's a vignette and then a reflection. Yeah.
That sounds beautiful. So how did you meet your husband?
Oh my gosh. It's a really incredible story. So I'm from New York and I was working at the New Yorker magazine in the advertising department. And I had changed to different departments through the years. You could do that in a big company. And I ended up in the production department. And the production department is the department where they actually ordered the paper for the magazine. Well, the printer for the New Yorker magazine is R. Donnelley and Sons in Chicago. And so if there was a problem, we would have to contact people in Chicago, something went wrong. So when I was in this production department, something happened with a damaged roll of paper. And I had to find out what was going on. That was my job. And I called, and this person who had just landed in their paper department was this guy called Bob. And I got on the phone with him and he was telling me what happened and how they were going to fix it. I don't even think I heard anything he said. That voice, he had me at hello, literally. And so we met over the phone and we had a friendship relationship over the phone for a year. And that developed into something greater. He was just this incredible, smart, funny, witty person that, and I ended up moving to Chicago. The New Yorker got sold and things were changing. And after 9 years at the New Yorker, I moved to Chicago. Yeah, to be with him.
That's wonderful. I had to ask. So on your author page, it states that you understand the importance of creating the life you want, to love who you are, and to follow your dreams. After the loss of your husband, what was the turning point from when you were still in the depths of grieving to finding a new purpose?
My grieving time was really long. Like I said, it was like 6 years. To me, that's long. Every day, I remember at like 5 p.m., I would say, okay, I got through another day. And then after a year, I got through a year. And every day I thought, oh, this would be the day. This would be the day I just feel better. Like you wake up and you feel better. And that really didn't happen. What happened was gradually, and I hope this helps people that are going through this. It doesn't happen fast, but gradually what I found was little by little, I started to find me again. I mean, the me that I was long ago, you know, who I was. And then I was the me with him, and we had us, and there was no more us. And I had to somehow find me again on my own. And that took time. But little by little, really little by little, I started to emerge the things that I liked, or how I even wanted to decorate the house, or the books I wanted to keep, or things just became my own. I actually found the me inside of me. And I never left what we were. Those are all these amazing memories, which are, you never let go of those. But I started to emerge as me. And that's what transformed. I started to create my life. I started to create, we had a life and it was amazing. And now I started to create a new life for me that was me and my kid. And so it was a very slow process. It doesn't happen overnight. You don't even realize it's happening, actually. And then one day you're sort of feeling, not that you're feeling better, but you're feeling more capable. You're feeling stronger. You're feeling courageous. You're feeling like you know who you are again. And that clarity is incredible.
That's amazing that you were able to get to that point. So there are 4 parts to your book. Can you share what each part is?
And I have it here to show too. I don't know if you have this where you'll show, but there are 4 parts. And I always love lifting people up. So the parts are honor yourself, because it's important to know that you matter. You matter through this. That's number 1, honor yourself. The next part is believe in yourself. You can, you do this, even though you think you can't, you can. So believe in yourself. The third part is be yourself. Start to emerge. You shine, you can do it. And the fourth part is find yourself. Finally find who you are and just keep going. That uplifts me just to talk about it. And hopefully the reader will go through it like that. So the honor yourself is a large portion of the vignettes. How you're getting through it, it's difficult, you're tired, you're sad, you don't want to pay the bills, you don't want to do it. That's the first part. And then the next part, you just start to emerge more and more and more. So that by the time you're through the book, you hopefully have had a little bit of an uplifting moment or a transformation.
So who do you hope that will pick up your book and read it?
I hope that anybody who's had a loss, mainly this is about a partner loss, but anybody who's had any kind of loss with somebody close to them, they might relate to it. And I really hope there are so many people that it's so difficult and everybody thinks that their story is, you know, we're all the same, we're all one, and we all need to support each other. And I'm hoping that this is a companion for the person who's had a loss. Whether it's a partner loss or somebody's left you, whatever it is, it's a loss. It doesn't have to be like necessarily a death, but a traumatic loss that you feel that you have a guide and a companion to get you through it. And I always say this book isn't about grief. It's about learning how to be on your own. And it's okay. It's very scary, actually. That's a very scary thing. There's one vignette I wrote that I was afraid to grow. I didn't know what was on the other side of grief. And people actually stay in, it's really scary. Like, what do I do now? How do I do this? So I'm hoping this helps the person that has had a loss through that. Yeah.
I find that very interesting that it sounds like, maybe I misunderstood, but it sounds like you're saying that some people are a little bit afraid to get past that grief because they're afraid of what's on the other side. Is that what you were trying to say?
Yeah, I think I was. I don't know if other people are. I'm assuming that other people might be. And they're so scared. They're so upset that that person is gone. Number one, they don't know what to do. They had us and now they have themselves, and their whole life in a moment changes. And like anything we find in life, even people that are in a terrible job, they'll stay. They don't know what's on the other side. It's very scary to go out of your comfort zone, even if you're miserable. It's very hard to go out of that comfort zone, to take a leap, to take a step, even a tiny step. It was hard for me. I didn't know who I'd find. I'd have to be on my own. It was much easier to stay in grief. So a lot of people stay in grief, I think. So I'm trying to say, you're going to be okay, because when you find yourself, oh my gosh, you will be richer for it. You will be better for the whole thing when you find yourself. Yeah.
I really like that. I think that goes for any type of grief because there's grief of losing someone, but there's also grief of, you mentioned losing a job. There's
Oh,
so many types of loss. It's just
yes.
the loss of an idea of how we thought our life was going to be.
Yes.
And when you said that, it kind of hit home because there's something that I'm grieving right now.
Mm.
And I think that some of it is that if I truly just let go of what I am grieving,
Yeah.
what's on the other side. That's so
Right.
beautiful. And I'm so glad that you shared that with me.
Yeah. Because we hold on to things, whether it's grief, whatever it is. Yes, I know about job loss, friendship loss. These losses are traumatic. They're absolutely traumatic. And we hold on and we stay in there. And we just sort of have to unclench our fist and try to let it go. It's very scary. That's why we don't, because it's scary, not because we don't want to. Yeah.
I love that. And I think that's just thinking about that, I think will even help me move on from my small little loss. That's not like losing a person or anything like that. We also have three other books. Two of them appear to be journals. Could you
Mhm.
share a little bit about those and what your aim was through those?
Yeah. So the first journal I wrote was called My Badass Journal. And that was all about my sense of badass isn't a hard ass. It's sort of like you can do it. It's about self-love. Because if you don't love yourself, you can forget about empowerment. If you don't love yourself, you're people pleasing, you're scared, you don't. So that first journal has 52 prompts in it to help you like who you are. So an example of a prompt is, what will you say yes to today? What will you say no to today? Things like that. They really make you think. They're all different. So they're easy prompts, but they're like, oh, they kind of insightful. And I also have what I call a badass manifesto. These are 10 principles broken down. And there are things like no apologies, stop apologizing for who you are, love who you are, things like that. So that's one of the journals I wrote. Then I wrote my badass gratitude journal, because I believe in gratitude. It's when you're not feeling good and you're not in a good mood and you're not uplifted, and nobody can get you in a good mood. And so stop talking about positivity. If you can't lift yourself up, gratitude is the answer. I have seen things turn around because of gratitude. So I wanted to write this gratitude journal to show people that it's really good to have. And also, you know what? You carry it with you. I've done workshops on this called Going Beyond Thank You. You carry it with you. You don't have to buy it. You don't have to be special to have it. And gratitude actually changes your life. But the first thing, it's so important. And again, I have 10 principles. Gratitude starts with being thankful for you. People are like, what? No. And then you expand. Thankful for you, thankful for your journey, thankful for where you've been, thankful for where you're going. Oh my gosh. So I love that. The other one I did was then the Little Book of Badass Feelings. And this is 25, what I call extraordinary feelings, to help uplift us rather than the ones we usually default to. It's very easy to be angry, disappointed, frustrated, sad, all of that. But it's harder to feel like calm, going to get through this, present, inspired. So this is a book that shows us how to reach for those feelings. And it's a journal in that you can write in it. I have little stories of how would you change this story? How would you make this story to one of where you're empowered? So those are my 3 journals. Yeah. Thank you for
Awesome.
asking about those. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. And when I was checking out your website, I also saw something that you wrote. It said, I recognized that I needed to lead my life and not let circumstances pull me off my path or diminish my self-worth. This is my mission as a coach, because you are a coach. How have you witnessed, either in yourself or others, people allowing circumstances to pull them off their path and let their self-worth be diminished?
People don't even realize they're doing it. This is a very interesting thing. It's very sneaky. People think they've got it, they're doing it, they're making it happen, but inside they actually are comparing themselves to other people. That's pulling them off their path. They're thinking they're not as good as somebody, pulling them off their path. They don't realize I was saying, what they bring to the party, that everybody brings something special to the party. You can have the same job as 20 other people. I don't care. You will never do it like them, no matter what. If you're an artist, if you're a writer, if you're whatever it is you do, you will never do it like them. Why? Because you have your own story and you have to love your story, even the stuff you grew up with you don't like so much, because that's you and that's made you incredible. Like when I was a kid, I was a terrible student. And when I say terrible, I really mean it. I mean terrible. And I wouldn't give that up for anything right now. Why? Because it has made me so calm and so patient. And if somebody doesn't understand something, I can give them 20 analogies. I don't care. I never am patient. That's because of that. So these things always pull us off our path because we want to stay safe. We're afraid to take the leap. Really, they say they believe in themselves, but they actually don't. They don't believe in who they are. They're scared. They're scared that people will laugh at them. They're scared that people won't hire them. They're scared of being who they truly are. And anybody who's brilliant and who's out there, nobody understood them. Nobody understood Prince. Believe me, he got booed off the stage 3 times, I understand. Nobody understood him. So you have to believe in yourself. You can't look for validation outside. We want the applause, absolutely. But validation from strangers, we have to be the ones that believe in ourselves. And that's why people get pulled off their path. We have to constantly remind ourselves, is this distracting us? Am I not thinking of myself the way I should? Am I not setting boundaries when I should? All of these things.
I also noticed that you actually offer some sessions, a masterclass, and several workshops. Do you mind sharing a little bit about them and where people can find those?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. If anybody goes on my website, liveoutloudcoaching.com, they can go through it and there's a contact page, but they should absolutely go through it and read all about me and look at all the other podcasts I've been on and the books and all of that and the testimonials from people. But if people want, because sometimes people just want one session. A lot of the times people do not want this long drawn out thing. So I will do 90-minute sessions. If a person has a particular issue about anything, they come to me 90 minutes. I have a very practical and intuitive side. So my practical side is I'm not going to sit there and say, well, how are you doing? How does that make you feel? I'm going to be like, try this. And I'm very intuitive. I can go right into what the issue is. And so they could do a 90-minute session if they like. I also have a session where it's 6 weeks. And what I've done is I've taken the principles in my badass journal and we actually go through them. And so they don't have to come with anything. Sometimes people want help, but they don't want to divulge. They don't want to let you into their personal life. I get that. So what I do is we go through 2 a week. And it's sort of like, let's see if this resonates. Let's see if you have a problem in this area. Let's see why you're afraid to take that leap. So we do that through this session. It's called Design Your Life. That's a Design Your Life program that I have. And then workshops I have, these are free. Going Beyond Thank You. It's all about gratitude and how gratitude can help you. And I show you examples of that. And also this, I have a new one that I'm doing. It's mainly for writers, but anybody who's stuck can join it. It's called Put Pen to Paper, Write Now, Write, W-R-I-T-E. So in working on my books, there are some blocks that come up. People always have blocks. How do I get started? That's a big one. How do I do this? I have all these ideas. So I have this workshop where I guide people step by step We talk about 10 possible blocks that are keeping them from creating. And I'm all about helping creatives, or really anybody, bring their ideas into reality. Yeah.
Thank you so much. So where can they go to find that?
Yes, liveoutloudcoaching.com. I'm Sheila Kamuda. They can find me there. Also, I've done some videos on YouTube. On Instagram, I'm at Live Out Loud Coach. They could find me there as well. Yeah.
Wonderful. I do want to ask one more question before I let you go. And that is, what is one piece of advice that you would give to somebody who has recently gone through a loss and is just really in the depths of their grieving process?
What I would say is, because you can't say you'll get through it, that's BS. That's not the right thing. It's really love yourself right now. Be kind to yourself right now. Be patient with yourself right now. That is what I would say. It is really all about you.
Beautiful. Thank you. And thank you so much for your time, Sheila. I greatly appreciate you just taking the time to be on a podcast.
Thank you so much. It was wonderful. I really enjoyed sharing. I love sharing. I'll share anything with people. I love sharing what I know. Thank you so much.
And I also would like to thank the listeners for joining us. If you're interested in working with Sheila, you can find her on her website, liveoutloudcoaching.com. You can also buy her book, Party of One, or any of those journals that we had talked about on. I'm going to include the Amazon link for the Party of One in the show notes. If this episode resonated with you and you want to listen to more like it, be sure to subscribe. Again, thank you for being on being a guest, Sheila. I appreciate it.
Thank you. It was wonderful.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode of Authors Alcove. We will be back next week on Wednesday, where we will have a writer share yet another piece of work. Also, every other Tuesday, we do learn from experts such as editors, marketing execs, book cover artists, illustrators, and more. If you are interested in being a guest on our show, feel free to go to authorsalcove.com, go to the podcast tab, and then click on Be a Guest. If you're looking for a healed heart, hop on over to our sister podcast, Strength, Love, and Healing with Authors Alcove. You can find that on Spotify and the Apple Podcast. Thank you so much for listening today. Have a great day.